Hello. Today I'm going to tell you how to get out of a rut. So for the past year or two, year and a half, I've been stuck in what most people would consider to be a rut. A cage, four walls and windows. And yeah, I've managed to escape from the rut by letting go of limiting negative beliefs. So there's a process called letting go, and it's a book by David R. Hawkins, which teaches you to let go and surrender negative emotions to a higher cause greater than yourself, or the cause of the universe, or God. And I read through the entire book. I was amazed. I practiced every single step in the book for 2 weeks, and the results are that I'm going to the gym now every day, and I also do kettlebell workouts at home. I've been more focused on entrepreneurial pursuits, and it's actually, ironically, paradoxically, the more you desire, the more frustrated you become and the less likely the desire is to come into fruition. So you're in this state right now, if you're watching, you're a young man or a young woman, and you're struggling to get into your habits and whatever. You're in this state because you are holding on to negative emotions which you have made into a self, you have made into an individual identity. And once you start gradually removing the emotions, the emotional blockages through introspection, as you go deep within and you realize that you're driven by pride, you don't want to let go of the possessions you have, your surroundings, you don't want to leave your comfort zone. And that pride, really, all pride and all desires and even rage are guarding fear. Fear isn't real. Fear is it's like darkness that hasn't been lit up yet. It's darkness that hasn't been illuminated. And when you let go to the light of Christ, the dark fades. You remove the darkness. You realize what is actually there, what is in front of you, and you can then focus on what really matters and what is really important, what sparks joy, and what you actually love doing, instead of just doing something out of pride or out of guilt. Guilt is as though you've been shamed into it because everyone else is doing it. And if you don't have that, if you don't have the perfect physique, if you don't run your own business, if you don't get a job and study in this field, you feel guilty about what your parents think, you feel guilty about what society thinks. They'll think you're lazy, you're a slob and whatever. Once you let go of the emotions of these underlying beliefs, for me it's the belief those stupid, then you gradually start integrating into the world, and you find that things happen without your influence. Things happen without you directly messing and tampering, because you're pulling yourself away from the goal, from the finishing line, from the point which you want to, like point B. You're pulling yourself away from it, and the more negative beliefs you let go of, the faster you can run, the faster you can reach point B. And yeah, it's important to surrender to God and to not let the ego, again, because the ego's just false, the ego's just man-made. It's important to realize that these emotions aren't you. You are unlimited, but to your creator. You know, you aren't above that, but you are very, like, your soul is immortal, and as an immortal soul, you don't have to live in fear and limit yourself. And yeah, the same goes for illnesses, where there are flus going around and colds, and then you think, oh, I'm going to catch it, I'm going to catch the cold, I'm going to catch the flu. And you're more likely to catch that flu or that cold, which are man-made labels, by the way. You're more likely to catch those illnesses if you keep reaffirming to yourself that you catch them because of the guilt that you feel, and you feel somewhat deserving of those illnesses. And once you start letting go of the underlying beliefs behind that, like, okay, I'm experiencing a bit of a, I know to explain this, a bit of a blockage in my nose, I feel a bit stuffy, and you start recognizing the symptoms, the feeling. You sit in a mindful, meditative position, and you recognize where the blockages are in your body, and then you release them. That is how you build up immunity to these problems, to these ego-associated emotional illnesses, because most illnesses are emotionally induced, and it's important for your longevity. And that there's a lot of stuff with the Huberman podcast and Hamza about not wearing plastics, consuming plastics and synthetic materials. Well, I decided to rebel against that and go to the gym in polyester hat and even polyester trousers, because you associate what is good for you and what is bad for you through their ego, their ego associations. So the science doesn't have to be accurate, it's just explaining what is in the mind. And if the belief spreads that polyester is bad for you, or that the chemicals in the water are bad for you, then what will happen is that the mass hysteria will make it so. And everything at this point is bad for you. Eggs are bad for you because of cholesterol. Butter is bad for you as well. Meats, they're bad for you. They promote cancer. Sugar, it's bad for you. And the list is never ending. Even vegetables are bad for you because the veg has a toxicity, vegetable toxicity, and it gets absolutely ridiculous. So I decided to let go of those beliefs, and instead, the reason why I use Telobalm and the reason why I use these St. John's wort and even the metal water bottle is because I love supporting natural creators and natural organic entrepreneurs who use organic resources, small businesses who I know that they help to reduce waste in the planet and reduce use of plastics and help with global warming. It's actually for those reasons now, instead of just, oh, this is bad for me and that's bad for me, so I have to resort to only using steel, wool and cotton, which is extremely limiting. And there's another thing, I had a channel before which it's currently 1 o'clock in the morning, but I can handle it. So, yeah, I had a channel which was against caffeine, against coffee, where I was citing all of these studies where it leads to digestive issues, or don't drink coffee because you'll have loose stools and you'll suffer from all these different issues with your organs and whatever, and it impairs brain functioning and abstractions, and you struggle to concentrate on one thing. All of these different reasons that seem valid. However, the mass hysteria has made poor caffeine into the bad guy. And it happens with a lot of products of food and clothing and consumable goods, items, sprays, creams, and it's getting absolutely bizarre. So step back from the belief that to get from point A to point B, you have to make a sacrifice, and the sacrifice has to be gradually scaled until there's almost nothing. You just eat meat and you lie naked in grass and you tan your balls. And I've moved past those beliefs now because they're not helpful. They're unhelpful. They hold you back and keep you in a rut, like all of these beliefs. And you may think that by watching a guru such as myself, I'm a guru, that you were gaining some sort of benefit from it. It couldn't be further from the truth. Books, they're just regurgitated information, and as you read through the books, you may gain some advice that you think is good and advice that you think is bad, and a lot of it's being pushed through fear. See, if we didn't see ourselves as being lacking, and this is some good advice for all of you, then there'd be no need for businesses, there'd be no need for industry. If we didn't see a lack, everything came into existence and from the cognitive revolution because we perceived lacks while we were lacking, and we scaled up through the seed and we scaled up and nicely into what we have now, and it's all through perceiving the lacks. So everything, because we don't need a lot of the things around us, everything you perceive is kind of like an illusion, but I'm not going to get into that because when I become too philosophical, I often baffle a lot of people. So, yeah, I hope that helps with you. If there's anything for you to take from this video, is that you shouldn't take what you read and hear seriously. You should take the ideas that you like and take the ideas that you dislike. Forget the ideas that you dislike. Don't get too worked up if you have a pizza or whatever, because the lacks and what they say is good and bad, the spreading of the contagion of the mindlessness bug, it's nothing to worry about. You just let go, and the more you let go, the lighter you will feel, and the lighter you feel, the more like flying you feel. And another important thing, and which I haven't mentioned, is that everyone, according to Jungian psychology, everyone takes a position on God. So even if you consider yourself to be an atheist, you still take some position on God. And it's also related to the shadow. I haven't read that much on Jung, where what you hate in yourself, what you hate in others is what you suppress in yourself. And this is the whole purpose of releasing the load and becoming lighter through letting go, is that you surrender to God, and as well as that, you're surrendering the negative emotions and you're integrating with them. You are moving along and not suppressing anything within yourself. It also lifts others up as well out of their unconscious states, because you're becoming more conscious, and that's the purpose of meditation, that's the purpose of prayer, is to become more conscious. And as you become more conscious, you become more aware of your surroundings, and as I said, this brings it full circle, because that is how you get from point A to point B and you get out of the rut. Now, some more advice is that you start small. Now, before I scaled up to 2 workouts a day, I would just be doing 1 jump a day, and that became 30 jumping jacks in the end, which are, albeit inconsistently. And I also had some sandbags which I'd do chest presses with, and then for Christmas I had some kettlebells. I'd do some swings with them. That turned into a kettlebell workout. The sandbags I've gotten rid of the sandbags now, and I'm back on the weights in the gym. Been back for a couple of weeks now. So, well, I've been back for about a week. So, yeah, that's how you get out of a rut. You start small. If you want to implement a new habit, you let go of all the negative beliefs. That's the start. And then you start small. And if you let go of these limiting beliefs by miracle, you may end up like me, just jumping from 30 jumping jacks a day to doing 2 workouts a day. Something like that may happen when you let go of the desire to work out and the desire to do all of this. When you question why, you write down all of the payoffs of the desire, and you may find that if you want to run your own business, that you can afford these experiences, and there are other ways to just go solo and run your own company, or to quit your job. There may be other ways, and then when you do quit your job to start your own business, you're actually doing actually loving what you do, instead of just doing it because society tells you to, and then you're disconnected from your core purpose. And yeah, so those are the 2 steps. Step 1, you relinquish negative emotions, you let them go, you don't suppress them, you don't push them down, you just have a thought, you acknowledge the thought, you let it go. You could breathe, you could pray, and mindful meditative breath. And then you start small. You actually write down the habit that you want to implement. Then you draw a little bubble around it, arrows come out, spider diagram, and you write down all the habits, the smallest habits that you can, which will lead to that goal, like working out every day. Okay, so do 1 jump and now turn into a jumping jack habit, or just do 1 push up off the wall. And then that's how you scale up until eventually you're doing full body workouts for an hour and a half a day. And it happens gradually. It might take a few weeks, it might take a few months, but it will happen if you trust in the process. And if you even let go of the goal, which will let go of the blockages, you let go of the goal and the blockages behind it, and then if the goal is still there, then you have different driving forces, which will be love, courage, acceptance, and it wouldn't be out of pride or guilt, shame. And third step, if you want, you take St. John's wort if you're suffering from mild to moderate depression. Depression of any level can be helped with the letting go method. If you trust in the process, it may feel as though the method is doing nothing for you, but the results pay off in the long term, or the results even you notice in a couple of weeks. You let go of the resistance. It's practice. Every time you get a negative thought, it's practice to train this technique. So yeah, you approach it with that kind of mindset that you will let go of all negative thoughts and feelings and emotions towards others and towards yourself. And instead you can be in a state of love. When you're in a state of love, rest and digest state, more opportunities present themselves, and you will also create more opportunities for yourself. So you end up in win-win situations for everyone. Anyway, that's going to do it for now, for today, guys. Like and subscribe.